And then I was working all day. I was working in the evenings. I was working on Saturdays. Sometimes I was not going to church because I was working. And I thought, I don't like this. I don't like this. And there has to be a way around it. If I'm saying I'm overwhelmed and there's too much, then it's up to me to figure it out. If you find yourself saying I'm overwhelmed frequently, please stay with me. And please don't skip any of the steps I'm going to talk about. So this is going to be about a 10-15 minute video. I promise you it will be so worth it. So I need to back up in time. The first event that happened that led to what you're going to see behind me was going to a women's conference called The Feast with Christy McClellan, and I went with my podcast host and dearest friend Michelle. And the theme was Sabbath, and it was about rest and taking time to rest. So I was intrigued. It's not that I'd never heard it before, but sometimes you need a message just at the right time. So fast forward a little bit, 2 weeks ago-ish, shortly after that, I had a meltdown. I was completely overwhelmed. I realized that I had double booked myself. I had to cancel an event for the first time in my entire speaking career. I was crying when I talked to the client, and I was embarrassed. It just started coming out. So overwhelmed. Fast forward maybe the next day. When I walk in the mornings, I oftentimes talk into the notes or the voice memo on my phone, which we'll get to in a minute. But I'm walking and I'm thinking and I'm talking a little bit about the word overwhelmed. And we think of it as just being too much. I don't know what to do. And please don't take this as being anything towards you. It was towards me. But I said to myself, okay, everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. Yes, I have a lot of things going on. I have 3 different branches of business. My children are grown. They're not here. So I have that time. But I was working 7 days a week. Now, backing up even more, during the pandemic, I began getting up early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, mainly because, I've always been an early riser, but mainly because my children were home because of the pandemic. My husband lost his work, so we were all home together. And getting up at 4 a.m. was honestly the only time I could have by myself. You're identifying with me if you have children or for many different reasons, but I just wanted to be alone. Well, that stuck. I realized I loved it. I loved having my coffee and my quiet mornings. So that kept on. But I noticed over the past year that I was using that time more and more and more and more to work. And not only getting up 4 or 5, but then I was getting up at 3 or 3:30, and I was immediately jumping into work. And then I was working all day. I was working in the evenings. I was working on Saturdays. Sometimes I was not going to church because I was working. And I thought, I don't like this. I don't like this. And there has to be a way around it. If I'm saying I'm overwhelmed and there's too much, then it's up to me to figure it out. So I'm going to walk you step by step what I did. There is a document in the resource vault, so go download that. The link, I don't know where you're watching this, but the link will be somewhere in the comments or in the description. Please go grab this and please follow it, make it work for you, and then let me know how it worked. So here we go. Step 1 is to do just what I said. Now, I don't know if it could be whatever works for you. It could be opening voice memo if you have an iPhone. Android, I'm sure, has a voice mode. I know ChatGPT does too, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Or maybe you want to write. Whatever works for you, spill your guts. So on this walk, and I think it was like a 10-minute voice memo, I talked everything. I said, okay, here's one branch of business. I am a full-time training facilitator with SupportLink, an employee assistance program. I deliver 12 to 15 virtual webinars every week. I help develop curriculum, modify decks, and then some of the administrative stuff. So that's one branch. The second branch is me and my speaking business. Tammy West, the Stress Club, all of that. That involves planning topics, communicating with clients, planning the event, my PowerPoint, my notes, my giveaways, planning the travel, doing the travel, social media, blogs, this, all that. And then the third branch of business is with Michelle, and we have the Consider Yourself Hugged podcast, and we also do training for teachers, particularly staff teachers in school districts, to help them with their mental and emotional well-being and to help them help their students. That involves the podcast, planning the topics, finding the guests, if we have guests, recording, editing, uploading, the social media, which thank goodness my daughter Lindsay is helping us with now. But it's a lot. So I talked about all of it. And it doesn't have to be organized, really. You can come back and say, oh, I forgot to say this, I forgot to say that. That's step one. Everything, your feelings, everything. Step two is to get the transcript. Now, in voice memo, and I'll put all this in the download, there should be a copy transcript function, but sometimes it gets a little bit wonky, and sometimes if it's a longer note, it takes really long to get the transcript. So there are some options. You can send it to the Notes app on your phone, and you can open it up and get the transcript there. Step two is to put that transcript into ChatGPT or some other tool that you use. Now, you can start in voice mode in ChatGPT, but if you stop talking for a minute, I just don't find it to be as efficient as the voice memo, because on the voice memo, you can talk as long as you want, and if you you can pause it, but you can also just not talk, and it just keeps recording. Okay, so step two, you're putting it into ChatGPT, and you're saying, help me develop a workflow. And that workflow meaning what needs to happen, what's tied to Monday, what's tied to Tuesday, what are the tasks that are actually tied to a certain day. I'm not saying what has to be done. Honestly, I don't like can't, have to, has to. I feel like that takes my power away. So I'm a word person. Ask it to give you a workflow. That's step two. Step three is find your creativity in whatever that looks like. Maybe you're more creative, maybe you're less creative. So again, I asked ChatGPT, I said, okay, here are the materials that I have. I didn't want to buy anything. I'm pretty frugal. So when you're seeing a picture, I had butcher paper, I had markers, stickers, magazines, Post-it notes. I wanted something decent size and visual because I had done something like a vision garden before and I really enjoyed it. And so between ChatGPT and me, we came up with what I'm going to show you now on the wall. So that's step number three. Step number four is to create it. Now, again, find what works for you. So this is what I did. And you're seeing a picture now because you may not be able to see the whole thing, but I got the butcher paper. I'm going to show you step by step. And I didn't have a ruler, believe it or not, so I took the edge of a clipboard. I made the lines for 6 days. Why 6 days? Because I made a concerted decision. I am not working on Sundays anymore. And I'll come back to that in a minute, but I'm not doing it. Now, I'm not being legalistic about it. If something comes up, if they want me to speak at church or, there might be things, but overall, I'm not doing it. So it's 6 days. So I made my lines first. Then I wrote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I decided that I'm okay if Saturday is a work day. I really enjoy it, so it's okay. For me, it's like, okay, God works 6 days, took one off. I can do that too. So my handwriting is not great, but I wrote the names of the days of the week. And then I printed out the events that were tied to each of those days on brown paper. I don't know, I just wanted to do it this way. And so every day there's the curl link or support link workflow. And then every Monday, I have meetings. Well, I forgot. TikTok and YouTube is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's on there. So I wrote that back in. So for each day, I put in typing or writing what is tied to that day. And then I took Post-it notes. Now you'll notice I'm recording this on Wednesday morning. Monday's Post-it notes are gone. Tuesday's Post-it notes are gone. Here are the ones for today. Yesterday I was supposed to finish the bathrooms and I didn't, so I moved it down here. I have vacuum. I have reviewed chapter 2 of the Stress Club. I have 30 minutes on Cook's Pest Control, which is a women's event I'm speaking at next week. And then I need to plan my Consider Yourself Hub topics and watch this. I did that this morning. These are things that I'm trying to be organized about what would be great to happen on those days. And when I finish them, no, let me back up. So I take my Post-it notes and I put them where I'm working each day. Pretend like I've already done that. You'll see a picture of it. And then when it's done, I crumple it up. We're going to come back to that in a minute too, but I just wanted you to see that. So I put those there. And then I was going to use stickers, but the stickers I had weren't great and the magazines weren't great to cut out pictures. And I thought, wait a minute. Tim is a photographer. We've had a lot of amazing experiences. So I thought about each day, talked to ChatGPT a little bit, and I asked him to print out 6 pictures for me. Okay, you're seeing them now. I'll start to point to some of them. Monday, climbing that mountain. These are the Tetons. We were out there a couple times out in Wyoming. Tuesday, things are starting to flow. This is a river in Gatlinburg, which is East Tennessee. I live in Middle Tennessee. Wednesday, okay, it's the middle of the week, which is today. Why am I doing what I do? What can inspire me to keep going? We went to Canada for the first time last year. I had a speaking gig right across the border, so we went over to Canada. This is Lake Moraine. It was gorgeous. So I did that for every single day. And then the last step, which I think is step 5, is implement. And implement is what I was telling you before. So each day, I'm looking here. And then I'm pulling the Post-it notes off. I'm putting them by my desk, which again you're seeing. When I do something, I crumple it up and throw it away. And then if I don't get something done, it's okay to move it. You know, it's interesting. I struggle a little bit with time, meaning that time and tasks. If I say I'm going to get something done in a certain amount of time, I'm watching the clock. And when I think about working 7 days a week and being so bound to time, when I said I'm not doing this anymore, I was just exhausted. I was exhausted. I was becoming kind of bitter about things. I thought, I'm 60. Why am I still doing this at 60? My decision to not work on Sundays, today's Wednesday, this past Sunday was the first one. And it was very interesting what happened. So I got up. I still get up earlier. I like it. And I get up and typically I will do my prayer, read my Bible, do a couple of things. And so then I'm sitting there with my coffee. It's dark. I have the news on. And I was thinking, okay, so I'm not working. This is great. Well, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought, oh, I know. I'm doing another Christy McClellan Bible study with Michelle. It's called Jesus and Women. It's amazing. I'll do that. And then I realized I was still trying to fill my time. I was being very legalistic because it wasn't work, but it was still saying, what can I do? How can I be productive? So I didn't do it because I thought that's not the right heart to have right now. And I don't know if you psychoanalyze yourself. I've been through enough therapy that many times I know exactly what's happening. You know, the mental hospital stay, which you may or may not know about me, but it came in 1995 after a student teaching experience where my cooperating classroom teacher told me I had no initiative. And that's been 34 years ago. But those words, no initiative, have stayed with me this whole time. And so I realize that's what's happening. It's, oh, have initiative, take initiative, be productive, do things. So that Sunday was a big learning experience. So I'm still working through some of those feelings of rest, but we went to church, we came home, my husband and I, we had lunch, we watched a couple shows, I watched a movie, we did just those kinds of things, had dinner, and then we went to bed, and it was amazing. And already, it's only been, I started doing it on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, today's day 5. I already feel this huge burden lifted from me. And I'm excited to see what happens. You know, I was thinking on my walk this morning, Sunday, looking forward to Sunday is almost like when you look forward to vacation. Because now I'm like, oh, I have this one day where I can rest and do whatever I want. My dear friend, Beth Johnstone, we go to church together. We're good friends. She's been on my podcast before. On Sundays, she rests. She naps. She goes to church, comes home, gets in her PJs, rests, watches movies, takes naps, and enjoys the day. She does not answer emails. Sometimes she doesn't even answer texts. And I told her the other day what an inspiration she has been to me, because at least here in America, we don't always look at that as being strong. We sometimes look at people who rest as, oh, okay, well, you can't do it all, but I can. And that is so not true. Being able to say, I'm resting, is a strength. It's an absolute strength. So thank you for staying with me the whole time. Remember, don't skip any steps. Now, your steps may look different from mine, but work through them. Get the download. Let me know your stories, and get out there and remove that burden and find your peace.